Okay, so when we come to the scope of the project of this course is to focus on time management. Okay, and so instead of calling this construction planning and control, I could call this course construction scheduling, because planning really can involve a lot more things other than time. Scheduling means it's basically time management. So if you look, we are actually focused in this course on time management. We are not going to talk of quality, we are not going to talk much on safety, very little, quite a little bit on cost, but it's not a cost management. We are not going to talk of environment, primarily focused on time. And when you talk about managing time, we actually come up with tools. So this is the other thing which a standard does. Okay, what are the tools which we need to use, how do we utilize which tool, and these are some of the tools which we will covering, which is the Gantt or the bar chart, the critical path method, which is really the core of this course is going to be on the critical path method. Okay, we will spend a little bit time on program evaluation and review technique, which is PERT, and other techniques like LSM, a little bit on Monte Carlo simulation, okay, so that you get introduced to some of the more advanced concepts in planning. And like I had said earlier, the emphasis is on planning, monitoring and checking. This is still the most basic part of the course. Okay, now one of the elements here is so this is an outline of the BIS standard on time management. Okay, so this is, like I said, 15883 part 2, and you will see the standard itself is, it's got plan, monitor, control. Okay, this is the base of the standard, and as you get into the elements of the standard, it will have elements for planning, it will have elements for monitoring, it will have elements for control. Okay, so so please keep this in mind. The standard is, I think the first version of it came out only very recently, so it's not a very mature standard yet, and until people start using it and giving feedback and doing that, the standard will not it will have to go through that kind of a continuous improvement process in itself. But I think we are at least fortunate that we have a standard today which specifies certain things. So we can specify it as a standard and try to follow it in the best way as possible. We will refer to this standard as well as the PMI standard where it's relevant, but also the concepts of what we are covering is sometimes slightly different from what these standards specify. So some of those fundamentals I will certainly go outside the standard to cover. Okay, so I will basically summarize, and we will have a discussion after that. I think I hope by the end of this you are able to define project management. Okay, we have looked at approaches to project management as a science, we have had an overview of the project management standards, and we have actually covered the course scope and the overall plan as to how we are going to go about this. I have not given you a lecture wise schedule, that is available on the website and the NPTEL requirements. We will generally follow that lecture wise schedule for the course. Other questions which I can answer?
So in the plan, monitor and control, so monitor and control, which is very close to checking part check?
Check is monitoring. Okay, so if I take it back here, okay, so basically control is still act. Okay, so what you don't have in plan, monitoring, control is you don't have the doing part. Okay, we are saying you plan something, it will be done. Okay, so you don't have the doing part, but you have the monitoring as the checking, the controlling as the act. Okay, so I mean, yeah, so there are many examples we can, I mean, let me answer some of the other questions you may have, then I can give you a certain example on this. Are there any other questions? Okay, so just to give you a very broad example on plan, monitoring and control and the use of tools. Okay, let me put it into a situation which is totally outside project management, but you might be able to relate to it. Let us say I want to go from this campus to the central station, okay, and I need to go. What is the, how would you go about doing it? So that is your project, to make a trip from Chennai, from IIT campus to central station. You have to plan,
route,
right, you will plan a route. What are the tools you need for planning a route?
mobile phones, Google Maps.
Okay, you will use Google Maps, you will plan the route, okay, and what will that plan result in? What will it, what are the parameters of your planning?
Distance, cost,
Distance,
traffic.
time, okay, let us say it's what you want is time, okay, and cost is, let us say, not too much of a problem at this stage. No, yeah, so cost is not an issue, time is the main issue. You want to be able to manage the time of where you are going to go. So you will take Google Maps, you will know the route, you will let us say you want to reach there at 10 o'clock for a train. What would be your planning decision? Time of departure will be your, and mode of transport. Typically what is your mode of transport?
Train.
Okay, let us say you have your own mode of transport. Let us say it's a friend with a bike, okay, that's why I'm giving you some control. MRTS you don't have any control, okay, so I'm giving you some control. It's a friend with a bike. Now how much time do you estimate?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So I can do planning without tools. I can basically ask a friend who has done this before and say, he will say 40 minutes. That's very heuristic planning. I can do that. If I made this trip many times, I just use my experience and come up with a thing. But Google Maps, this is that, if the tools are good, you should have 40 minutes. Okay, so I want to be there at what, say 10 o'clock, I should at least start by 9:20. So that is, your plan is over. Now you actually start the journey. You don't have Google Maps with you anymore, assume, okay, you don't have the connectivity to do monitoring. What are your options? How would you monitor your progress?
You make certain checks as you come to known landmarks.
Okay, so does that have to be included in your plan?
Yes. Well, if you're going by bike.
If you are going by bike, you would have to include that in your plan, that I will reach these milestones at this time. Only then I can actually monitor. If I had to say that, look, I am going to start at 9:20 and be at the station at 10 o'clock, I will not have intermediate milestones to monitor my plan with. Okay, so let us say you're very meticulous in planning. You say that I have to be in this junction by this time, this junction, then I am making good progress. You start, so all this has been done in planning now, including milestones, not just your start time. You start off, okay, and you find you don't have a watch. It's a tool. The tool is absent. Now what? Now how do you monitor?
Stop and ask some other.
You will have to, monitoring becomes more difficult now without a tool, okay, and you will, so these are the tools that are helping you. So if you now let us say, so now you have a watch and you know the milestones and you are progressing towards the station, and you find that you were supposed to be at some point in 9:40, but you reach there only by 9:45. So because you are monitoring, you got a status check on your progress, and you find you are 5 minutes late at a milestone. What do you do?
So I'll control the next.
You have to take control. You have to either tell your friend go faster, or you have to say, find a new route. Might be you're slow because traffic is high, you'll have to find an alternate route. So you have to take control of the situation and respond and plan again. Okay, so I hope, so that is a very kind of a very everyday context example of plan, monitor, control, or even PDCA in a way. Okay, you have done the plan, you have actually made the journey, you have checked where you are taking action to change the plan in a way. I would prefer put it in the context of plan, monitor, control, because it's a very much more project oriented. PDCA can be much broader than just projects. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.